melancholy guy talks ethical non-monogamy. This is a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be black, open, and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African American male. I am the melancholy guy, Calvin, or CPJR if you know me. And today I definitely believe that change I must or die I will. My blog can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. Okay, so basically this show is broken up into three parts. Past, the polycule speaks. Present, what's up with the polycule. And future, accepting the change. Welcome back to the show. This is going to be episode 35. This is the fifth show. So this is going to be a recap show. This is going to be a recap show talking about the last four shows, because a lot has happened in those last four shows. And it's also, for me, I'm going to talk about relationships for the present, what's up with the polycule section. So it's been an interesting week. I'm late with this episode because of just out and about, being busy, working with my family. They do, like, I guess, general contracting and home improvement, so I've been working with them. This is my last official week of being quote unquote unemployed. I start my new job next week, on next Thursday after the 4th. I'm going to New York for a couple days for onboarding, some training, and then I want to come back to DC on Friday evening, and then I'll be in my new location, which is going to be in Landover every day. So this is the last week. And it seems like a long week too. After being so busy over the last couple weeks, just running around, with my brother in his business. This week is kind of slow. I'm not really looking for a job. I have a job. I'm just waiting to start it. So it's kind of like just keep myself busy working on my projects. And this podcast is one. So let's get started. So this week we're going to talk about, we're going to go into Past the Polycule Speaks. I'm going to read from my blog, and then I'm going to share some news in present, what's up with the polycule, and I'll go into, why I want to talk about relationships. So I'm going to read from my blog. Like I said last week, I'm going to incorporate the blog into the interviews. So I'm going to read this one entry. It's called First Airport Pickup. And I wrote this in January 27th of 2013. And I think I was reflecting back on when the first time I saw my ex-wife. She was from New York and I'm from the DMV, Maryland. And we met, like I said, on what's that thing called? Match.com. And hit it off really well, and we talked for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months before she actually came down. So this is me reflecting back on that time. Why I was reflecting back and why I was thinking about her in this way, I do not know, but I like this entry, so I'm gonna read it, and this is why I've been thinking about relationships. But you kind of think about what I want to talk about in this recap show. Basically, I am going to talk about what's happened over the last 3 episodes, but also with me, what's been going on. So let's go ahead and read this. It's called First Airport Pickup, January 27, 2013. And it reads, "The plane will land and I will get to hold your hand. I will get to gaze upon your smiling face and put my arms around your voluptuous waist. Your essence I will start to breathe into me as our lips touch and our minds start to run free. Our first embrace grows tighter and tighter as we start to melt, and each other of our loads starts to get a little lighter." I guess it's poetry. "We continue to explore each other's body even before we hit the final exit door." So yeah, I was in love. I was in serious love with that woman, and that first meeting, I think I will never forget it. It's blazed and blazed. It is sealed into my mind. It was such a happy time, and the timing was so right for that relationship. Even though it was had some drama, I was still in active addiction at that time, and so it was like not like now it's kind of off and on type of deal, binging, but we had really great times and we had a really great connection. Very the beginning, we had a really great connection. I think until the last year, 20, I guess 2013, the beginning of this year. This is, maybe I was reflecting on what I was getting ready to lose. Probably is what it was. So I'm gonna read this second entry right quick, and then I'm gonna go into the present, what's up with the polycule, and just recap the last few shows and what's been going on. So basically, this is called Life Lessons, and I wrote this the following month, February 9th, 2013. So it reads as follows. I've recently experienced some heartache that has reminded me how important it is to live in the moment and take nothing for granted. It is important not to lose uncontrolled thoughts, not to let loose uncontrolled thoughts ramble in your head. I was reminded that everything could disappear in the blink of an eye. This is a reminder to me to always live in the moment, to be present in all things and thankful for all things. Now, I cannot remember exactly what was going on in February 9th, 2013. Um, I know some things that happened in February. I know our car got totaled, but I don't think that was before February. I don't know. Our car got totaled, got hit. So we just got paid for it. It was a thing. Everything worked out okay. It just got hit. It was parked on the side of a road in DC, and then somebody ran to the back of it. So it was kind of interesting. I'm not sure what was going on because it was just like I had so many different relationships at that time. I'm not sure if she. I think she asked. It was close. She asked. I think it was around about May or June when she decided she was going to, move into her own place and she wanted her own apartment. So there's a lot of that going on. So it had probably was about my primary relationship, my marriage breaking up. That was pretty much written on the wall. I think I was in therapy at that time. Really found a great therapist up in Silver Spring, who eventually moved to New York. But it was not a bad time if I think about it. When I think about it, but it was also a time a lot of change, just going through a lot of things, a lot of people coming in and out of our lives, and that's gonna bring me to the present. I'm gonna talk about. So, if you've been listening to the show or new to the show, you know that I've changed the format over to interviews or people sharing their story about their polyamory. And I started the show with myself. I had Kimberly, a friend of mine, and I'm calling her a friend now, interview me from the polycule. She interviewed me, and we talked about. She interviewed me and asked me the three questions that I ask people to bring out their story, right? She asked me, what do you call your ethical non-monogamy? How did you come to that name, conclusion, or description? And what does that look like in your life today? And you can go back and listen to that. I think it's episode 33 or 32. But you can go back and listen to that to see my answers and how I answered that. And then after that, I had her on the show, and she's basically talked about how she is basically polyamorous, and that's who she is. And she talked about her marriages and what's going on now, and how she came about to actually be polyamorous. I think Kimberly is really a very polyamorous person. I'm gonna go ahead and talk some more, and then I had I had someone I called Nell on the show for the last episode, and she called herself a polyamorous swinger. She's a black POC African American person who dates interracially, which a lot of people in my little tribe up here in DMV is very much against dating interracially. But for her, she's doing great. She's happy with it. We talk often, and it's interesting that I did choose those two people because in dealing with relationships, it's interesting that now I'm going to the present, and Kim and I are no longer talking. We're not actually. I don't know. I know that if you've been listening, I've been having a hard time with labels and expectations, and I couldn't come up with a label for our relationship because it didn't. I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know if we were together or not, but it seems that we weren't. And I say that because we don't talk every day. And I'm going to talk about what happened because I know she made us to the show and may have a different version of this. And I will gladly talk to her about it on mic, off mic, on the phone, whatever, because I'm just working out what happened or what didn't happen. So basically, we got started talking again. We were in a relationship before. It started back in 2013, polyamorous, open, of course. I had other people back then. She always has other people. And it didn't work out. You know, it wasn't good timing based on me because I was still dealing with my things, my issues, and it didn't work out. So this time there wasn't the issues or anything like that. It just didn't work out, or I just didn't. I chose not to keep, I guess, pursuing, and I'm not sure if that's the right word for it, or I just since we've been talking since April 19th, my birthday, up until now, like a couple weeks ago, I noticed a shift in the energy. Like it wasn't being returned as it was before. You know how when you're talking to someone and all of a sudden they're into your story and they're saying, yeah, okay, wow. And all of a sudden they just stop saying that. They like drift off. Maybe they'll look at their phone. And you say, are you still listening? They say, yeah, yeah. But you still notice they may say they're listening, but it doesn't really seem like they're listening. And that's what I noticed, right? So I didn't want to just acknowledge that, I guess. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to give you the same energy back that you're giving to me. So basically, I just stop doing the things that I normally do every day. I normally send a good morning text to people I'm in a relationship with or a serious relationship with, like every morning at clockwork. If you follow me on social media, you see that I post a post in the morning, a motivational post in the morning, motivational post in the afternoon, and I may or may not post something in the evening, but I'll always post like a podcast recommendation. I'm very ritualistic about my text messages, my posts, because it just helps me to stay focused, right? And I take I take effort for me. I do it because I want to do it, and I'll just say something nice, something motivational to people. So when I notice that I'm just doing it and it's not really being appreciated or not being reciprocated, I just stopped. Right? Didn't say anything. Didn't hear anything back about that. Yeah, I guess did I do it to get a response? No, I just did it just because I didn't want to do it anymore. I just didn't feel that it was needed or appreciated. So I just stopped. So I guess we also had sort of plans to go away last weekend to visit her friends down in, someplace down in Virginia. I think a friend of hers had a tiny house. So I'm into tiny houses. So I was excited about going, but I didn't want to go based on, you know, how the energy was in between us, because I don't know. First of all, I'm going into her friend's place, and I'm gonna be going in her car. I'm not gonna be able to get back on my own. I'm not gonna go strand myself because I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling the energy. I'm not feeling the love. And it's interesting, when she did finally notice something and say something to me, I told her exactly how I felt and what was going on, and all I got back was, "So you're not going?" So I was like, "No, I'm not going." Because I'm like, something's up, and if something's up, something is up, and you don't want to talk about what's up. So, and that really hit me and caused me to really reflect about going forward with people that I've had relationships with in the past. I used to think a lot of relationships didn't work out because of, you know, me being me going through my issues, things like that. But that's not always the case. Um, then I think when I that post I wrote about picking my ex-wife up from the airport first, that was definitely a relationship. We were in it. Didn't work out 9 years later, but it was a good relationship for those 9 years, for whatever it was for, good or bad. I got something out of it. And not saying that I didn't get anything out of being in a relationship with Kimberly, but I definitely know that for me now going forward, I'm gonna need more than you're just attracted to me. That we share some kind of energy. I'm gonna need you to be in my tribe. I'm gonna need you to be around or want to be around the people that I'm going to be around. That's one thing I noticed early on. We definitely share different tribes. We share different spaces, and I guess we tried to accommodate each other. And she definitely tried to accommodate being in my spaces. But when I asked her did she want to go back, she's like, "Nah, I'm good." And that was interesting to me because I'm like, I'm gonna be there a lot. That's part of my plan going forward, to be in those spaces. And for you to say you don't want to be in those spaces, we shouldn't be together. You know. So I'm gonna chalk that one up to a lot, but I definitely recognize to learning a lot, and I definitely recognize that going forward. The energy I put out, I need to get that energy back. I need your energy not to change. I need you to keep that same energy that you came in here with. Because once I notice a shift, I'm just going to reciprocate that shift and follow that out. Because when I look at it and I think about, we've been hanging out since April 19th. When I think about it, now that she's gone, what has changed in my life? Nothing. So what did she add to my life? I haven't the slightest idea. Some good pictures. We're supposed to do a podcast together. I was supposed to produce her podcast. I guess she's not doing that. Hadn't talked about it. Am I going to approach her about it? Nah, I'm not. So, but I definitely understand that for me, I'm going to be very cautious and on guard about people coming back into my space, wanting to, I don't know, just be here, take up space, seeing if I can do something for them. I would gladly produce, your podcast. We don't have to be a relationship for that. We don't have to be friends for that. It's probably better that we don't be friends, because I'm very critical, and I might hurt your feelings. So yeah, relationships. I used to be very into, always wanting to be in a relationship, always pursue relationships. I was always on like online dating and all that kind of stuff. But now, nah, I'm too busy. I got stuff I want to do. I got goals, businesses, shit to do. So, unless you want to come on board with that, we're good. I'm good. I got shit to do. Like I said, I start working next week. I got more shit to do. So, I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad we're still friends. I'm glad we had that time together. It was really good, spending that time. And then actually getting actually for me to recognize that, going forward, that it's not going to be in my best interest to look back at, what could have been with some people. Because if it could have been, it would have been. And the fact that it isn't, it's all good. It's all good. So let's just go forward, and do a new thing. And that's going to be what's up. And for the rest of 2018, just going forward, not looking back on anything. Spaces that thought I would be in, because I've been in some cool spaces with some very cool people, and I'm gonna be back there again. And I told them that I'm coming back. As soon as I think I'm healthy enough, I will. Some spaces I've never been in, just wanted to be there because it looks like a cool space to be, but I never got there, so I'm cool. We good. So that's it. That's it from the Polycule Speaks. This week, I'm basically doing me. And let's just talk about, like I said, I start my job next week. I'm excited about that. Today is day 100 in my recovery. I'm excited about that. Very focused on that. And I'm very happy to be in triple digits. I'm very happy to be going forward, especially, with the job starting next week. I'm going to do a 100 days blog posting and just talk about, what I've learned in these 100 days about, being in recovery, staying clean and growing. I'm excited about it. And also, I guess I want to talk about guests. It's going to be interesting getting these guests. I had a good time with Nell, a good time with Kimberly. I got someone lined up next week already. I'll be posting. Like I said, I'm late this week. This should have been up 3 days ago, but I actually got somebody to interview for the Polycule Speaks. I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation because I've known this person for years, at least 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, and actually dated a friend of hers out of California. So I'm interested in talk about that, and interested in talk about her journey, because her journey is very popular in the Black and Poly world. So it'll be a good interview, and that should be posted like about Sunday, because I'm gonna get to do the interview Saturday night. I don't see nothing happening or coming up that should interfere with that. So that'll be a good interview, and I'm looking for some more people to interview. I will find them. I'm not afraid of reaching out, and I will, because I think this is an interesting format to explore and hear different stories of just people living their everyday, ethical, non-monogamous life. And then it's interesting that sometimes you just don't feel non-monogamous, because I'm not living. I have, I could say I have friends. I have no other romantic relationships. I have no romantic relationships right now. None. Yeah, I got friends, and people that I'm grateful to, that check on me and I check on them. But nothing romantic. And I think it'll be like that for a minute, because I'm going to be too busy, building up shit and businesses to, go back into trying to date and court someone, unless you're awesome. Unless you are really, really great and awesome, and really want to be a part of the team, that would be the only way that I may deter or take time out just to get to know someone at this point. And I'm very cautious about the energy now. It's very, very important. I realize that it is nothing to play around with, and I'm not going to play around with it anymore. If I detect a shift, if I see something shifting, if I see something kind of curious, I'm just going to fall back. I'm just going to follow that energy. I'm going to give you your energy right back to you, so there'll be no hard feelings, right? I think before in the past, I would definitely want to um, pursue that and see what's going on with that and talk about that and get into that. Nah, I don't care. Not that I don't care, is that I know who I am. I know what I'm gonna give you, and maybe you don't have it to give. Maybe you're busy, but you can speak. You can use your words. I'm definitely gonna use mine. So, with that, I'm just gonna go into. I don't know. I think it's just a recap show. I think I'm recapping it well. You guys, if you're listening to the show, you had two good interviews. We're off to a great start. I'm excited about keeping it going. Next interview should be up next Sunday. Stay tuned. Keep following me on social media. Catch me on Instagram, The Melancholy Guy, Twitter, The Melancholy Guy, Facebook, look for The Melancholy Guy, and you can see what's going on with myself and the podcast. And I probably will never announce the person I want to talk to because I haven't cleared with her, like, if she's going to be anonymous or not and all that stuff. So just stay tuned. You should see that podcast up Sunday, and it should be exciting. And if you get a chance, if you heard the last podcast, you got any comments, any questions, just drop them in a DM somewhere. Please comment, rate, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, anything like that. Like I said, I'm excited to do the podcast. I'm excited about being episode 35, doing a recap show. Looking forward to another recap show at episode 40. And things are good. I thought I had another podcast coming, but nah, I don't. So I don't know what happened to it. If you know, let me know. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up real quick and short. And I look forward to being here again, bring you the next podcast. So I guess I need to go into the outro. I guess I should do that. Okay, so always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself. Peace and namaste.